Hello, everybody. I'm Cary, and next to me is Janice Patton, and we are here to talk to you about working on animals and making them feel better and us feel better at the same time. So I'm gonna start off with a screen share and give you a little bit of foundation, and we'll go through that quickly. All right, everybody see it?
Yes.
Okay. All right, so there are 3 Jin Shin Jyutsu self-help books written by Mary Burmeister, who is the woman that brought this art from Japan to the United States. Jin Shin Jyutsu is something we all do innately, like children sucking their thumbs or adults resting a hand on their cheek. We consciously don't know that these specific actions help to move energy, and specifically these are to aid digestion. Jin Shin Jyutsu opens our awareness to what we already know. And when we hold areas on our body or on others, it helps to move blocked energy in order to feel better emotionally, spiritually, and physically. After years of study, Adele Leese, who is joining us tonight, by the way, authored this Jin Shin Jyutsu book for animals to help people get started to help all animals. She travels around the world teaching people Jin Shin Jyutsu for rescue animals and privately owned pets. If you're interested in this book, you can go to JSJ for your animal companion or for your animal.com. And I forgot to mention that up to the 3 books too. You can get those at jsjinc.net. Okay, so this book we haven't really talked about too much in our study groups, and it's called The Touch of Healing. And it's a great beginner's book because it talks a lot about stories of how Jin Shin Jyutsu has helped people. And it's also really good to have information on how to work on yourself. And so I'd say that's a good foundation book for anybody. So today we're going to look at Safety Energy Lock 8 and Safety Energy Lock 2. Safety energy locks are areas where energy commonly stagnates. It's like a safety feature in our bodies, similar to a circuit breaker in a house. When we have overloaded an electrical outlet in a household, the breaker switches so that not to create a bigger problem in the electrical system. And this is how safety energy locks work in our bodies as well. We may feel this stagnation by feeling symptoms of fatigue, tensions in the body, or digestion discomforts, just to name a few. So Safety Energy Lock 8 are these, let me put my little laser pointer on, are these little dots here on the outside of your knee. And it's at the tip of the tibia. And Safety Energy Lock 8 helps with any projects in the hip and pelvic area. And it's good for reducing muscle tension, as well as for elimination and assimilation projects. So right side is to assimilate and left side is to eliminate. And so for urinary incontinence, you would want to hold the right 8. And holding the left 8 would help you with constipation. So also the right 8 helps to keep you warm, to warm the body, and the left 8 helps to cool the body, which people naturally do when they cross their legs. If you cross your leg more one way than the other, then think about, are you always cold or are you always warm? And look at what leg or which 8 you naturally go to either cool or warm your body. I run cold, so I'm always got my right 8 being worked on when I cross my legs. Safety energy lock 2 is located on the top of the hip bone. It helps to relieve all kinds of back discomfort. It balances digestion and breathing, and it also reduces tension and stress in the legs. Every evening, I hold this combination 8 and 2 in bed before I go to sleep. I always have a hint of a restlessness in my right leg, and it starts at my hip in the 2 area and goes down my entire leg. And so I roll on my side and I hold the 2 and the 8 until that feeling goes away. And so this combination is one of my favorites. And also my pony really likes it too. And he has a little bit of a pelvic congestion, so it helps with him also. So for our breath exercise, what we're going to do is hold our 8s and our 2s, which is the hip and the outside of your knee. And we're going to do that for 5 breaths. So I'm holding my right hand on my right hip, and my left hand is crossing my body and holding my right outside knee. Now you can like dig around in there and feel if you have any sensitivity in an area, and then go ahead and hold that. Or you can just place your whole hand over your outside of your knee, or you can come underneath and go like this under the knee, whatever's comfortable. And I'm going to cross my leg to hold my 8, but you can have your feet on the floor, you can have a knee up, whatever's comfortable for you. And so what we're going to do is we're going to hold this position for the 5 breaths, and then we're going to switch sides so that we have both sides getting this lovely treatment. And then we'll go from there. Okay, so what we're going to do is I want you guys to close your eyes, drop your shoulders, take a deep breath, and then you're going to start breathing normally. You're going to breathe up your back and down the front. Mary Burmeister says, receive the breath up your back and let go of the dirt, dust, and greasy grime with your out breath. Now your right hand goes over your left outside knee, left hand on your left hip. Okay, left outside, left hand on the left hip. And we're going 5 more breaths, dropping your shoulders, finding a relaxing spot for your head, nice and level on your neck. All right, when you're ready, you can open your eyes. And now we're going into the wonderful world of animals. And we're going to start talking about this because this is a topic that's really exciting for both Janice and I, that we often have people talk to us about, they've heard about Jin Shin Jyutsu, they've tried Jin Shin Jyutsu on their animal doesn't like it, and what are we going to do, and how can we make this better? And so there are times when you have to like just do slow increments and work with your animal on baby steps to get them acclimated to Jin Shin Jyutsu. And then other animals just melt into it. So, there's a whole variety. And then there's also animals that you just can't touch. And so I have one of them. And it's my 13-year-old goat. And she came up injured not too long ago. And I wasn't really sure what was going on. It was on the weekend, and she was eating and drinking and peeing and pooping. So it wasn't any huge emergency that I could see. And so what I decided to do was work on her remotely. And so we're going to talk about the different ways that we work on animals remotely. Janice works a different way than I do. And so I have a video footage of me working on my goat. And we're going to look at that briefly. And so I think I'm just going to jump in with that. And then I'll show you guys, I'll talk about it as the video is playing. So let me get to. Okay, everybody got it? Can you see it?
Looks good. Looks good.
This is Tina. And I'm working on the bladder flow right now because I thought she had something kind of stiff. And so if you watch her eyes, like it's like she's receiving the energy, and when they pop open big like that, now she's doing a release where she's just like the energy is just going through her. So there she goes again. And I'm just standing on the other side of this gate of this fence here. So, and I'm working on myself. I'm actually doing the bladder flow on myself. And so these are all releases what you see from her. And what I've noticed it when I started working on her a little bit every day is that she has this headrest that she kind of like lets you know that the energy is coming in, or what I interpret as the energy coming in, where these are all just little releases she's getting. And you'll see in a minute, she'll have a really big release where she kind of comes up off of her laying position. And, but her eyes tell so much when you can see them, where she just gets kind of like these bedroom eyes where she's just, there it is, the headrest. She does this now every time when she's got a good load of energy going. And then here in a little second or two, she's going to have her big burst of a release. And so think about the things reminding you, I want to remind you of is that releases are licking. Oh, there it is. There's a little chewing after that, licking, chewing, passing gas, yawning, these muscle spasms kind of thing are all releases that animals and people do when they're receiving Jin Shin, and it's helping them release something. So this is day one, the first time I ever did worked with her remotely. And now she's just kind of have gotten into a zone where she never had any other dramatic release like until after that big one she had. And so here it's kind of looks like she's like in the energy zone of La La Land. And so this is the next day. And I did the bladder and the spleen, and there were no reactions. But this is as soon as I started holding my ones, I'm just sitting in a chair right there, and I'm holding my ones, which are the inside of my knees. And she started licking like that. And then those are chainsaws in the background. And here's her headrest again. She's totally like there into the zone again. Oh, and scratching is another another thing that is noticed on animals, if they start scratching or itching somewhere, that's usually indication of a movement of energy. And so she's just about going to get back and start scratching her belly, which is so nice. You can have your own back scratcher on your head. And then here, no more licking and a nice big yawn. And then she's going to give us one more of those beautiful yawns. And after the second yawn, she kind of looks at me like, what are you doing to me? It's so funny. It makes me laugh. Now look at her. She's like, looks in at me like, what are you doing? Oh, goodness. Okay. So that's my entertainment for tonight. And so like on both of those, I'm standing by her and I am actually working on myself. And so that is a remote thing. When you have an animal that you want to work on that you can't, you can do work on yourself and they will receive the energy. Okay. All right, Janice, I'm going to turn it over to you. I'm going to unpin myself so you can have the whole spotlight.
All right. Cary, that was really great. And I just love watching that go. That was so awesome. So I really, there's so many different ways you can do this. By the way, this is Suave, and Suave can be a show stealer, so we might have to help him go down for just a second. So while she was doing this, while we've been talking, I've been over here holding Suave 2 and his 8. And you can see him when he really first starts, almost always, he's doing a lot of licking. So I've had him facing this way the whole time. So I'm going to turn him around and see if we can actually do the other side a little bit here. And what I find is that it really doesn't matter which hand goes where. We're just going to go 2 and 8. So this is, for some dogs, this is really comfortable. And you can actually see he's already leaning his head on me. But there's a couple of different ways that I do remote work. One of them is when I was in that first position with him and he was really comfortable, he was lying down. And I really hate to change my hands when the dog is really into the work. So even if did you just see the big breath there? So let's say that right now that I wanted to change positions, but he's really pretty comfortable. I don't know that I would move him again. But what I might do instead is if this hand could comfortably go to that 2, and I actually think about most of the time, and look at him. Most of the time when I do this, what I do is first I've already worked on me, and then I have a picture of my animal in my mind, and I envision my hands on them in that position. Now, almost always when I do that, I'm almost always holding my thumb, but that's just because I like to hold my thumb a lot. And there's 2 things that happens when I hold my thumb. One is that very, very often I can feel the energy, like my hand really heats up. So when you have your hands on an animal, a lot of times you're going to feel the pulses. And for me, when I'm holding this, my hand will heat up. So like right now, I can do exactly what I was doing just a second ago. I'm thinking about the 8 and the 2. And so right away, my thumb starts getting really warm. And I'll just keep breathing through that until that cools back down. So it's just another way to me of listening to the pulses. So I'm just going to keep doing this while I'm talking for a second. I have a 13-year-old Briard who has some some hip and some knee issues. And it's harder for her to get up on things, and it's harder for me to lay on the floor in a way that's comfortable for her at this point. And I do this almost every day. And I swear this dog will like change positions as I'm working on her to let me know what we're doing. Like she'll like kind of move around, very similar to as if I actually had my hands on her. I love it when I can put my hands on an animal, and that's just not always possible. And sometimes, and I don't even know that it's necessary. At least that's not my experience. It's like, it's really, really nice when I can have like, this is, well, if I say his name, he's going to look up, but we'll call him Wasabi because it's not the name that my husband calls him that. He never looks at him. So it's really, really nice when I can have my hands on my animals. And it's really, really nice to have an alternative for times that that's not going to be as convenient or as easy as well as this. So to kind of piggyback on what Cary was saying, I definitely went through a period that I had hot flashes like crazy. And I did so much holding my left eight. Oh my gosh, it was like my hand was glued there. So that's if that you're wanting to cool down. It is freezing here, and many of my friends don't have feet right now. That is a hold your right eight. Some of your animals will naturally be really cold or really warm. And I have a little 14-year-old Chinese crested who's always cold. Well, she doesn't have much hair, but she has a complete wardrobe. She has coats. And so for her, a lot of times when I'm holding her, I will concentrate on doing things on her right side, although I almost always do both. So if you want to see any of the positions with Flavia again, I'm happy to do it, but I'm just going to show you. I'm not absolutely sure that you'll be able to see this, but can you see my, let's see, can you, I don't know if you can tell. This thumb is really hot. You can't really tell, can you? Well, you can just like, I can tell you that it's true. So yeah, that's really, I mean, I sometimes work on me next to an animal also, but I just like having the wide variety of options.
That's great, Janice. Yeah, it just is going to depend on what the dog is or the animal. I say dog because they're always in my life, but what the animal is capable of. I mean, I've tried with Gina to touch her and work really slowly, but man, those horns come out so fast and it hurts. So it's a lot easier to do remote. Janice, I do have that one picture of a 2 and an 8 on a dog. Did you want that or just let it ride?
Completely happy to have that picture too. And also you have a question, which is how do you know when your goat has had enough?
Okay, well, my sessions were short, and those 2 sessions that you saw were the first 2 times I did remote with her. So she had so many releases on that first one that once she looked really relaxed, I wanted to stop. I didn't want to keep going and going. And the second one too, as soon as she did those, that yawning, I felt like that was really plenty. I didn't want to like overload her, and just learning about, her headrest, and that's like her lingo of saying, yeah, here it comes, kind of thing. So yeah, it's intuition, obviously, but I felt like I didn't want to push more, but I wanted her to release what she wanted to. Does that make sense? Aunt Linda?
That question was from Starn Stables.
I'm imagining that's Aunt Linda. Is that right? Yeah. Okay. So let me show you really quick that one picture of oops. You see it?
Mm-hmm.
So this is Timmy, and one hand is just laying on the outside of the of the knee, which is the 8, and the other hand on the back of the hip, really quick. Oops, sorry about that. So that just gives you a quick idea of what it looks like. And just like we were saying before, is that I worked on myself and Janice works on herself before you work on the other animal, because you have to be present, you have to be balanced, and or you try to be balanced and in harmony in order to work on others. That is the big key. So if anybody has any questions, and if not, I do want to say that if some of you have not received the notification that email about having this class, the study group, which is bi-monthly, if you have not received the email that says as a reminder, then please leave your email in the chat and we'll put you on that list. And then also, if you want to subscribe to us on YouTube, you can do that and get a subscription and a notification. And we always put things on the YouTube as a reminder. You'll get a little ding to say that, hey, the next animal study group is coming up. So remember, this is bi-monthly, every other Thursday at 8 o'clock Eastern time. And any questions or any stories? I mean, we kind of shared our stories with in the middle of the whole thing, and so it does kind of all blend together. I do have other remote stories, but...
So we do have another question, which is from Philip, and he wants to know if we ever do full text 1 or full text 2 flows on our animals. And the answer is yes. Although it's at least yes for me. Although it's maybe a little bit beyond the scope of this class, absolutely, I absolutely will do that. And I especially like some of the ones that are in the center of the body, like the 13 flow. Yeah, yes. So the answer is yes. When at the rescue, oh, go ahead.
My answer is I don't as much. I do more of just like the anchor step. I don't usually do the whole flows. So this is the art of Jin Shin Jyutsu, where we all have our own ability to be their own artist in that. And so I'm more of a one or two first step and maybe the last step. All right, Janice.
I've got another question. When at the rescue, I find working on myself and breath work for those I can't touch to be helpful. Thanks for the different options. You are very welcome. Mm-hmm. And then I've got a couple of people that we're putting on the list. From Carol, when you work on yourself first, is there a certain flow or hold you do?
For me, it varies all the time. Sometimes it could just be holding my fingers, and other times it's holding my upper arms. It just whatever seems to call to me at the time. How about you, Janice?
I really often do spleen, stomach, bladder, both sides on me first. I do them almost every single day. I started it when I was in a class with someone and I just loved it, and it made such a difference that it's kind of my go-to. If personally like I fell a couple of days ago on the ice, go figure. And man, bladder flow has been a major go-to for me. So it has saved me thousands of dollars that I used to spend at the chiropractor and now I don't need to. And it sometimes takes a few days. If I do it right after something happens, I tend not to get in a problem, but I thought I had it. So, but yeah, I do those 3 every day. And then I just throw in things I like or that I think that seems to be calling to me. From Mardell, I like the idea of imagining one of my paws on an SEL I can't reach. Yeah, I do too. I love that. And I'll tell you, Bizu, who's the breeder, absolutely approves. From Jackie, I have a question regarding maximum time when working remotely. Maximum time. Gosh, with my animals, it almost seems like they never really want more than about 20 minutes. I mean, like when I'm working remotely or otherwise. I mean, sometimes I do, but it doesn't seem to be such a, how about you, Cary?
It's pretty short. It's pretty short. I mean, I'd say 10, 15 minutes. So it doesn't, you don't have to do a really long thing. And also with Jackie's question about pointers to help cough and not yet specified lung projects would be helpful. Those eights are 8s and 2 together are a great asthma, lung, opening up the breath. So just to reinforce our number for today, which is 8 and 2, that would be helpful also.
All right. Do we have anyone else with a question?
I think that's it. Well, this is great, you guys. Oh, we got a sleepy puppy. Well,
Put them right out.
that's awesome. All right, everybody, thank you so much for coming and play with us today. And we will look forward to seeing you in 2 weeks. Anything else?
Thank you so much.
Thank you from Kentucky.
And
Thank
stop
you. Just
the
wonderful.
recording, Cary.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks, bye.
You can stop the recording.